Okay, I think I'm live and my mic is working. So, hey everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you had a good week. Oh man, I had a really busy week. And we released a few really awesome episodes on Intrepid storytelling. And then also, I had a big Realty One group event in Bellevue, which was so exciting. And I'm extra invigorated and motivated, and which is why I'm so glad today we're going to be answering the questions that you've submitted about real estate. So, some of your questions, I'll just kind of go down the list of the questions that you've had, and I will do my best to answer them as uncomplicated as possible. So, all right. So, the first question that a lot of people usually ask is it hard to buy a house? And that is a very it's a good question because to some people it will seem hard. It will seem like it's a hard process, but really it's not as hard as you think. But the most important thing is working with a real estate agent, because your real estate agent, and let's just say you're working with me, I will walk you through the process. There is a process when you're buying a house, and it shouldn't be too complicated if your real estate agent is walking you through that process. Okay, buying a house or selling a house, there are a lot of steps, and it can be you can see my daughter and my son are playing outside. Anyway, yeah, so I to answer that question is there are a lot of steps, okay? And it will seem like it's a hard process, but it's not. When you're buying a house, the very first thing, and it's the one of the most important things, is to get pre-approved with a mortgage loan officer. I also hold my mortgage loan originating license, so I can answer a lot of those questions for you, like how much down payment do you need? Do you are there programs for first-time home buyers? Do you have to put 20% down? You don't. And in fact, there are ways to find your down payment, which in my personal experience, uh, you can borrow. If you have a 401k and you have a pretty healthy 401k, there is a way to borrow against your 401k that does not count against your debt to income ratio. Did you know that? That's really exciting. So you can it's like, taking a loan out on your 401k is just like borrowing money from yourself. It's like taking money out from your savings account, and then there you put a payment plan to pay it back. The interest that you take out, that you pay against your 401k loan, the interest you're paying is not to the bank, it's to yourself. And so I bet you didn't know that you could do that. And especially when you're investing in real estate, whoever you have your 401k with, they allow you to do that and they encourage it because it's just another form of building equity and wealth for yourself. So I highly encourage you to do it that way. Now, you can also take gift funds. And when you take gift funds from like a family member or like a grandparent or something like that, and they say, here, I'm going to gift this money to you for your first house, the lender will require you to have a gift letter from the person you are taking those gift funds from. So let's say your grandpa's going to give you $10,000. So he would need to write a letter and and sign it. Um, and some lenders will require that gift letter to be notarized. That's not hard to do because the escrow person who is doing all of that will help you with that. But, yeah, so you can have gift funds, you can borrow against your 401k, maybe you have investments that you have like, maybe you're investing in some company stock or what have you, you can pull that money out. They will need to verify those funds, so you just need to give a statement of how much money you have in those accounts, and then, how you plan to withdraw and when you plan to withdraw those funds so they're available when you close. So here's the second part of that question, when you close, right? Some people think, "Oh, I'm just gonna go out, find the house, and then I'm gonna sign a contract, and then the keys are mine." Oh, no, no, no. There's a lot more that goes into that. So you're looking at so on average, when you're out looking for a house, let's say you're already pre-approved, you got your pre-approved letter ready, and you're out looking at homes with your real estate agent. And let's say I'm taking you out to see this house and that house, and maybe we go see 5 houses in a day. And you go, "Oh, okay, one out of those 5 houses I really love. I'd like to make an offer on that house." We come back and I get with my team, my transaction coordinator who helps me put together this offer for you. It can take several hours to put that offer together. It's not like a phone call and saying, "Hey, I want to buy your house." There's a contract that needs to be signed by you before we submit it to the seller or the seller's agent. And then they have time to review your offer. Maybe they've been given several offers and yours might be one of several offers that they might consider. And the only and then there is a review period where we say, "I'm submitting this offer and this offer is good until this date. So I need to have an answer by this date at this time. Otherwise, my offer's no good anymore." So we'll say, We're offer," and then this offer expires in 48 hours or 24 hours, however you many hours you want. And based on how many offers, because I like to call the listing agent and say, "Hey, have you received any offers on this house yet?" And if she said, "Oh, yes, we have about 3 offers and we're going to be reviewing them at this time on this date," then we might craft your offer to say, like we want to make it a very attractive offer. Maybe we might not put so many contingencies in it, or maybe we offer a little bit above asking price and say we can close in 30 days or close in 2 weeks, depending on what your lender is saying. And there are so many different ways that we can make an offer look better than all the other offers that they might be looking at. But then realize that once they do accept your offer, and maybe they don't accept it, maybe they've accepted somebody else's offer, and I get a call from the listing agent saying, "I'm sorry, your offer didn't win." And then we get back out there and look at more homes. So that process on average can take 6 months. Maybe we look for homes and maybe we've made several offers and they haven't been accepted. So then we kind of learn our lesson that we need to make our offers a little bit more attractive and maybe kind of competitive by offering either a little bit over asking price, or maybe we waive this contingency or that contingency. Maybe we say we're willing to close in 2 weeks, which some people are like, "Yeah, I would rather take a little bit lower an offer, but know for sure that this lender closes in 2 weeks and we can get this thing done, and I need my money." So, it really just really depends, and that is my job as an agent, is to do the digging on what's the scenario here? Why is this seller selling their house? Why are they motivated to sell quickly? Are there any other offers right now? Have you done any open houses, and how was the traffic? I ask a lot of these questions so that I can get a feel for, um can we submit an offer that's lower than asking price? Has it been sitting on the market for over 30 days? If it's been sitting on the market for a long time, then I know that Well, we don't have to be as competitive because it's not like this house is just gone like that, right? There aren't a lot of people going, I this is worth the money, right? So, um, yeah. Uh, okay, so then moving on to the next part of that process, once your offer is accepted, let's say they accept the offer, say, "Congratulations, we're under contract." Guess what happens next? A lot more steps. So the next step in that process is send I I tell you, congratulations, we're under contract. You have this many days to get your earnest money, which earnest money is different than a down payment. Okay. So earnest money is like it's like a deposit that you submit to escrow, basically your skin in the game, saying, here's between 1 and 3% of the sales price is usually what I recommend, offering as an earnest money deposit. But let's say your earnest money deposit is like $10,000. So you need to make sure you get a cashier's check or wire your funds to escrow, and that money will sit in escrow until you close. That money is included in the entire amount. It's not an additional 10,000 on top of whatever you're going to spend. It's like a deposit, and then the rest, they minus that 10,000 because you've already deposited that money. They subtract that from the total amount due at the end of the at your closing day. So so we submit the contract. Now you're in mutual contract, mutually signed. Buyer and seller have signed the contract. We send that contract to escrow and say, please open escrow, and earnest money will be deposited within 2 to 3 days, however many it's in the contract, decided upon between buyer and seller. Standard is 3 days. So, including the day that your offer was accepted. So then um, you get your earnest money deposited, escrow is opened. The very next thing you do is you order an inspection. And now you can waive your inspection. Let's say the seller had done a pre inspection report. The seller had paid to have an inspector come and look at the house and do their own inspection report so that you know kind of what a professional has pointed out, what's wrong with the house and what's running well. Sometimes to make your offer attractive, you might waive your inspection. Now, I don't recommend that personally. I don't, like just because a seller did their own inspection report doesn't mean that you shouldn't still get an inspection. You can still waive your inspection, but I would still purchase your own inspection report so you know what you're dealing with. Some, especially investors who are buying homes that need to be rehab homes, they might waive an inspection because they know they're going to be doing a lot of work on it anyway. But then they lowball the offer and just say, "Here's this amount of money, but I'll waive the inspection." So there's no like, I'm not going to be pulling out of this deal for whatever reason. Because just so you know, an inspection contingency on your offer contract allows you to, once you're under contract and now you're in contract, you can't just pull out for no reason. You have to have a specific reason, and the inspection report is one of those reasons. When you have an inspection contingency, you can say, well, I found this wrong with the foundation, or this wrong with the roof, or that kind of thing. You can say, I think I don't want to be in contract anymore, and you can withdraw your offer at that time. Now, or this is what I love about inspections, okay? You can order an inspection and you find out there's a hole in the roof, okay? Let's just say. And let's say the seller didn't know about this hole, but he knew that the roof was really old, right? He had put that in the contract. The roof is 20 years old, let's say. and then the inspection shows that there is a hole in the roof, it's gonna need to be repaired or replaced. That's when we can come back and say, "Well, we offered you this much money for this house, but the inspection says it needs a new roof, and, we don't wanna close until that is either fixed or you've given us a seller credit for the amount of the roof." So then we do like this inspection, dance, like in a negotiating dance with the seller, and we just say, "Hey, we're either asking you to replace the roof before we close," which can take a lot of time, by the way, um, and or let's just do a seller credit of, however much money. Let's say the roof will cost $20,000, then we ask for $20,000 for the roof. Maybe there are a few other things, but we just say, just throw it all in for 20 grand. We'll be done. And the seller has the choice to say yes or no, or they can say, all right, let's split the difference. I understand that the roof was old, but there's been no leaks, and you know, um, maybe it's a something that would have to be replaced eventually, but like not right now or whatever. They can say, well, let's stay in contract, but let's go $10,000. And we can go back and say, well, 10,000 isn't going to do it. It's not going to cut it, but maybe we go up to 15. Then the seller can say yes or no. So I love that part. That part is like, it's a very challenging part of the negotiations because the listing agent is trying to get the best deal for their client, and I, as a buyer's agent, am trying to get the best deal for my client. And the listing, we go back and forth and back and forth, and we're like, you know what, we really want to make this deal happen. Look at this house, it's the perfect house for you. The listing agent saying, these are things you knew were going to need to be replaced anyway, whether you stayed in the house or not. You just maybe we just let's just go with this. And you need this to close, and you pick this couple or this person to buy this house for a reason. Let's just get this deal done. So we definitely we fight on your behalf to get you the best deal, but we also don't want the deal to fall through. So there's a little bit of like give and take on both sides. And then setting my job is to help also set the expectation for you to know that these things are coming up and we are going to have to bend a little bit just to make these things happen. Because this is the deal. This is owning a house is things go wrong, things break, things need to be replaced, things need to be updated. And so you might not get the perfect house, but the house is perfect for you, especially knowing if it's in the right area with the right schools, like for, with my kids and stuff. Finding the perfect house means getting into the right, schools and the right neighborhood that's safe for my kids to be able to play in the neighborhood with the neighborhood kids. And so that part for me has been more important than, do I need to replace a roof? I was going to, whether you own a house or well, when you own a house, those things that just come. That's part of owning the house. So I'm giving you just really generic examples, but also I really want you to know that this process does not have to feel overwhelming. It seems like there's a lot, and it is. It's a lot and it's complicated. And sometimes there's a lot of emotion that goes back and forth. Sometimes the stress of not knowing if your offer is going to get accepted, or trying to figure out, well, uh, there's going to need to be another water heater. That water heater is old, and how am I going to replace that? Here's another thing that I like to do. As an agent, I always, as a closing gift and for peace of mind, my closing gift to my clients is a home warranty. And when you close, and even before you close, there's something called a seller's coverage that covers the house while it's under contract. The home warranty. So if anything goes wrong, like the dishwasher, there's some kind of a crazy weird leak that happens from the washing machine, or, just things, things that could go wrong. Maybe something with the sprinkler system outside, something gets busted or whatever. Stuff like that is covered under home warranty, and as soon as you go into contract, I open up a home warranty, and then I pay for that first year of your home warranty so that if anything goes wrong in that first year of you owning the house, it's covered. So, um, my job is just to make things as easy and, you feel like you've entered into the best possible scenario with your home. Um, so Oh, man, what was another question that you guys had? Do I need to be pre-approved before we go look at a house? I highly encourage that. Let's say you think, "Oh, I can afford this much home." And maybe you've done, like, some little online calculators with a mortgage, just a generic mortgage company, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I make this much money, and I can afford this much home. I pay this much in rent right now, so I think I could afford this much home." But there's so much more that goes into getting pre-approved. So maybe, I'm not gonna say no. If you're not pre-approved, I'm not gonna say no to going on our first home tour, just to get a feel for what you like, because more when you go out shopping for a home, the first couple of houses you go look at, I love asking questions, like, "What do you love about this house? What are some of the things that are important to you?" "Oh, I really like this neighborhood. Oh, I really want these kinds of countertops. Oh, it definitely has to have this many bedrooms. Like, I want a bedroom on the first floor. It needs to have a yard." These things, when I'm asking as we're walking through homes and we're touring, this gives me an idea of how to house hunt for you and find more homes that we can go look at. But the second time we go on a house tour, I really don't think there's no reason for us to go look at homes unless I know is specifically how much house you can afford. Because let's say we keep looking at homes that you can't afford, but you don't realize I can't afford this house. And then you fall in love with a house, and then you find out after talking to a mortgage loan officer that, oh man, I have this much debt. I didn't realize that my debt to income ratio was limited, and now I can't afford that house. You've fallen in love with a house, and you thought that you could buy it, and now you can't. And it just heightens the level of your emotions and your disappointment. And then I haven't done my job for you in finding you the right home. I just found you a home you can't afford, and it's just like everybody's disappointed. So I feel like if you skip that step, it's bad news for everybody. Just wasted a lot of time and emotion. So, like I said, the first time we go out, maybe we go see 2 or 3 homes. I get an idea of what you love. We can do that without being pre-approved, but the next time we go, gotta have that pre-approval ready, okay? Um, the really cool thing about the MLS, especially with Washington State, is we set you up on a search that automatically sends you properties in the criteria that you are looking for. So let's say you're pre-approved for $600,000 house, and I send you $600,000 homes in these areas, and I can pick exactly which ones. You can say, I really want this specific neighborhood because I know the schools and I know the neighborhoods. I grew up there, whatever. Or I'm moving to this area. I haven't really figured it out yet, but I know that I need to look in this area. You just get these homes, and you can, like, there's a little spot where you can heart. It's kind of like a like or a heart on Instagram, and you can heart the ones that you like. And then those types of homes, the algorithm in the MLS starts sending you more homes just like the ones that you're liking. So it kind of helps filter in the specific homes and the perfect homes that you will want to see. Then what you do is the ones out of the ones that you heart, then you say, okay, hey, I'm ready to go. Let's go look at some of these homes. I've written down the addresses. Or you can just, like, send me an email, and then we go and look at those. And I make a little map, and we make a day out of it. And maybe we go grab some lunch or some coffee and a pastry or whatever, and talk about which ones you really loved. And maybe you're like, no, back to the drawing board. And yeah, and then we just keep going until we find the one we want and that we want to put an offer on. we, you. But I always say we because I get so excited walking alongside you through the process. It's fun for me to watch how excited you get when you find that one, and then we get it, we win, and then we go through the escrow process and the inspection and then signing all your paperwork. And at the very end, it usually takes a few days after you sign your papers and wire your final funds, and then I get to present you with the keys and we celebrate. So, um, yeah. Let's see. I we have I'm trying to look at the oh, we have like 4 more minutes. Okay. Um, let me think. I can't remember, exactly what that next question was. Um, let's just end it here because we do only have 4 more minutes, but if you in the comments have more questions that you would like for me to answer, or if you just wanna call me and ask me on the phone, that'd be a lot quicker than waiting till Friday. Um, but you can ask me in the comments and I'll answer them in the comments, and then also feel free to call me on my cell phone. The number is 425-777-6998. And don't forget, I'm not just in Washington state. I have team members all over the United States and in 30 different countries and territories around the world. So I have a team at Realty One Group that can help you. So if you are in another state making a move, or if you're in another country making a move, put your comments, say, hey, I'm making a move in such and such, and I'm going to hook you up with one of my teammates that can walk you through the process. But Realty One Group, our agents in this company are amazing. And I love working with like minded people and people who treat their clients like your family. That's so important. It's so important. You guys have to know that we have your best interest in mind, that we know what we're doing. Okay. There's a lot of agents that don't know what they're doing. But, we've been in the business. A lot of us have been in the business 20, 30, 40 years. So we know what we're doing. And the fact personally that I have my real estate license, my mortgage license, most of my career has been spent in title insurance and escrow. So that escrow process, in itself, you might have a lot of questions about escrow. I can answer all those for you. And so, yeah, but also my teammates at Realty One Group are amazing. So feel free to leave a comment, um, ask a question. Please keep coming with your questions. Oh man, there's so many topics I can talk about. Uh, I know that there have been some comments about what it was like for me to foster my kids and getting into the fostering. With Washington State, it's DSHS, and I went straight through the state. I did not use an agency. You can start fostering through an agency. There is a lot of support using an agency, but I wanted to just go straight to the source and did not need a middleman. And so for me, it was less complicated that way. But I can talk about that. I can talk about. I did talk a little bit about why I chose to be a single mom and then and start my family as a single parent. Lots of reasons why. Go watch that episode. There's more to that story too, so keep asking those questions about that too. But I have been through a lot of abusive relationships. I can talk about narcissistic abuse, physical abuse. Um, there was a time when I dated a guy who yeah, there's some sexual assault in there. I can just relate to so many of your stories, um, stories that are so hard to tell. And uh, my main message to you is your story is important to me. It's really important to me. And if for no other reason to tell it than to just sit with me and I will sit with you and just tell me your story. I wanna hear it. Your life matters to me. But you'll find and telling your story to the world that your life matters to more than just me. And there's so much of your life that can be you can learn from, and people need to hear your story, and your life can help somebody else. So, thanks for being on this journey with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you got something out of today's live. All right, until next time.